Calvin, thank you very much for being on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Listen, I didn't realize that outside of being an exciting fighter, there is way more to you. And when I start kind of preparing for this interview, I realized that you also own the promotion. You also have some interesting story how you got to the how and when you got to MMA. So we're going to talk about all of this shortly. Cool. So now you have a fight coming up in the Fight Island. How excited are you?
Yeah, I'm pumped at the opportunity, but it's a lot of hard work from now to then, and we're not there yet, and just focus on putting in the work every day. And but no, I'm pumped at the opportunity. I can't wait to go out and build off the last one.
And what's your take on Dan Ige? Because he's had quite impressive run so far.
Yeah, he's done what he had to do with the last 6 guys. He's on a 6-fight win streak. He's climbing. He's a young, hungry, up-and-coming competitor, and that's what makes for a great matchup. And that's how you get those main event opportunities, is by fighting tough guys.
And it seems like your styles are somewhat similar. He likes to exchange, but in this fight, I don't think you're the best matchup for him because you have a reach advantage and a height advantage. What's your strategy for the fight in general?
Yeah, I don't think I'm a good matchup for many of these guys, and that's just because what I fight for, it's why you fight, and I fight for purpose when I get in there, and you can see the difference, who wants it more when they step in there. And Dan Ige he's a hungry, up and coming competitor like myself. I think he's another guy that's going to have a little bit of a fire inside him, and I'm going to go in there and put it out.
So you're coming up out of very impressive win over Jeremy Stephens, who, I mean, going into this fight, everybody realized it's going to be like a fireworks. But then, obviously, you delivered that fantastic KO. One thing I've noticed when I was looking at your resume is most of your wins prior to coming to UFC were decisions, but then you came to UFC and suddenly you start knocking people out. What's and it's counterintuitive because UFC has high caliber of fighters. What's changed? Is it you willing to take risk or something else?
It's definitely a part of it. Is just I'm always willing to take risk, but you air it out a little bit more in the UFC, because that's where you try to take a lot of guys, not myself generally. I was the older generation that didn't take smart fights just leading into the UFC. I just took tough guys. I figure you got to beat the tough guys to get to the next level, and which sometimes isn't really the case that much these days, but you still got to get some W's. But with those guys, it was it was just trying to get to the UFC. But now we're here. We're just having fun. We're airing it out. We're chasing 50K bonuses, and we want to be exciting for the fans. But another part of that is just becoming a better fighter, understanding, just what it takes to get finishes over high-quality opponents. And I feel like we're on a good run right now.
What is the line between winning and being careful not to run into the punch? Like Jeremy Stephens known for knocking people out.
Yeah. You gotta. That's the other thing, man. That's where it comes in. What you fight for comes into play, And for me, I'm hungry, man. I want that win side. I want that other life. I want a better life. I'm trying to do big things for me and the people around me and the ones I care about, my circle. And you see, when I step in there, man, I want to take these guys out like they owe me that show money. And Jeremy Stephens, he was just getting in my way, but you saw it. I took a right hand, and as I land the elbow, he broke my nose. I hit him with the elbow, put him out. I mean, I'm down to get dirty to get the job done if I got him.
Prior to that, you were fighting in my motherland in Russia, and you fought Zabit. That fight obviously didn't go your way, but how do you think this fight would be different if you fight again? Because I think at some point you guys will meet again.
Yeah, I think so as well. I have a lot of things I'd like to implement next time we step in there together. But Russia was cool. I wish I got to see more of it. We were kind of seeing more of the hotels at that point. But from that fight, I just realized I want more big moment opportunities against tough opponents. And I just got to go and capitalize this time.
What would you change? particularly?
Well, I mean, just getting going a little earlier. That's it. I mean, other than that, I felt like I was, I was dialing in, and I just felt like I ran out of time. And hopefully next time we fight, maybe it would be a main event. Maybe we get more time in there. But if not, I feel like I can get it done in 3 now too, knowing what I know and just adjusting. But just coming out better. I'm becoming a better martial artist every time I step in there. So, as you see with Jeremy, I displayed some elbows. We'll see what happens with Dan Ige in 5 rounds. If it goes that far, we'll be able to see a lot of footage on just to have a good fight. We'll see what happens. But really don't need to change much of that. Just get going earlier. But it was a good experience overall. It made me understand. I just want more of those big moment opportunities, and you just got to work hard every day in order to get them in front of you. And here we are, 2 fights later with another opportunity to get the job done.
Another impressive win you had is against Shane Burgos, and that guy is freaking zombie. I don't know why.
That kid's a tough kid, yeah.
I mean, what the hell? Like, so you're fighting the guy and he just doesn't go away. What's your typical reaction? Like, do you at some point go like, what the hell? What else I need to do?
Well, with Jeremy, you got to switch it up to elbows. And we're finding out now. We're evolving, but this guy like Shane Burgos, man, even a guy, tough, durable guys, man, and they don't get easier here in the UFC the higher you climb. So, Shane's a tough kid. I had a great fight with them at the TD Garden. I'm always rooting for him when he steps in there, and that's another one. He's going to keep winning too. Maybe I bump into him again down the line because I see us, keep climbing.
And you probably don't want to look through your next opponent, but if everything goes the way you plan, how far away do you think the title fight for you?
Hey, I want to take out Dan Ige. Right now he's got my full attention, but from there, I want guys that are getting me that belt. And for right now, it starts with Dan Ige.
One fight that I and probably a lot of people would want to see, you against Korean Zombie, because I remember you almost stepped in and UFC didn't let you, something like that, right?
Yeah, I'm always doing something like that.
Yeah, that's one interesting thing about you that I've learned when I was, as I said, preparing for the interview, you actually own the Combat Zone MMA, which is the oldest MMA promotion in Massachusetts. Is that correct?
Yeah, New England area. Yeah, it's been around a long time. We've had some UFC veterans like Joe Lazon, Marcus Davis, John Doomsday Howard, even like Drew Fickett, just the old school guys, man, from our area, that paved the way for us, kind of made their way through Combat Zone and other promotions in New England later. But so it's an honor to be a part of that promotion and carry the torch.
How did you come about? How did you end up taking it over?
So the reason why I got into fighting was my sister's best friend, Dave George. He was competing at the time, and I had just got done wrestling in high school, and I was missing the feeling of competing. A little out of shape. And then all of a sudden, I went to go see Dave fight with my sister, and it was wild, cage fight. And then I was like, I missed the feeling of training, wrestling. I was out of shape. I'm like, I'm going to give Dave a call. I told him I'd start training with him that Monday, like everyone tells me now, but they're full of shit. And then I actually took him up on it and started training with him. And then I was doing well. I figured he's competing. He had another fight coming up. I took my first fight 6 months after training, and professional. It was pretty wild. Yeah, back then it was up to you. Whether you want to go amateur or pro. I guess I'll go pro. Elbows and knees to the head, just crazy, man. So I took the fight. He ended up buying the promotion 2 fights later. The promoter kind of went upside down with something, and Dave came in, paid out all the fighters, and started hosting events. I fought for him for 8 years, and then he eventually wanted out, and it was a good time for me to get in. And I got involved with promoting. I took a 3-year layoff, which kind of held up my fight career for a little bit. But it was also paying the bills at 24, 25. I was getting a little older, and I just didn't want to rely on fighting for money to get paid. And so I felt like it kept me involved in the sport, and all my credits transferred, so to say. I didn't waste the last however many years, whatever. And so I was able to drop off ticket sales to fighters, get them to come compete for me, and I trained with them at the same time, kind of just just a little bit of everything. And then 3 years later, I broke the layoff, and I got signed up with Tyson Chartier, my now manager, and my teammate Rob Font, and I took two local fights, and then I got my debut in the UFC July 2017.
So you just covered the entire interview. It was nice talking to you. Bye.
I feel like that's kind of all in one.
No. I'm kidding. I want to know a little bit more about the promotion. Like, what's your role? What do you do as a head of promotion?
Just oversee most of it. I have a great team around me. That's what I learned. It's like with the fighting and then with Combat Zone, you really got to have a great team around you, man. And I'm fortunate to have that at Combat Zone. I have a lot of great people that help me out, matchmakers, guys in charge of the medicals. Just my brother's huge with that and everything on the internally. So just everything, have everyone around me leading into the events. Me, it's like I'm overseeing everything and trying to keep my tasks to a minimum. And come fight day, I like to just sit back if I can once the fights kick off and just enjoy the fights as much as you can, because that's why you do all the work. I'm a fan at the end of the day, and I especially at local MMA, it's fun to watch, and I love providing an opportunity for these guys to compete and then just get to that next level opportunity like I had, because we're the only promotion in New Hampshire.
Oh, really? Huh? Interesting.
Yeah, so it's nice to provide a stage for these guys to just get reps, compete, and just see if they want to do it. And then from there, hopefully, one day maybe have their opportunity to fight in the UFC.
How do these regional promotions make money? Is it just a gate, or there are some sponsorships, some other things?
Yeah, it's gate and it's sponsors. We're fortunate to have some good ones, and then from there, if you stream your fights, things like that, you can get some money. But
stream
right
where,
now,
on YouTube?
Yeah, you could stream it certain ways, do TV deals or a streamer, or even like UFC Fight Pass. I think they throw you some money, but then you might lose control over of event dates and things like that. So I keep it pretty minimal right now, man. I try to keep fighters first. I'm a fighter myself, and I just want to provide opportunity for these guys, man. And if we can, I'm just trying to keep the torch. That Combat Zone has been around forever in New England MMA. And I feel a responsibility and an honor, though, to carry that torch and just pay it forward to the guys that, like myself, trying to compete in my area and just make it to that next level. I want to support that. And right after this fight, I'm going to get right back on the pandemic, because I know things really slowed us down. It's the first show I've ever had to cancel. I've never canceled an event. And pandemic really kind of, setting a lot of these local fighters back, which kind of sucks. I feel for a lot of them. And I'm going to do my part as a promoter post-fight to try to really get things going in New Hampshire for them.
For the fighters, is it the opportunity to make some money, or it's an opportunity to go to the bigger leagues?
It's an opportunity to get some of your money back that you already spent in fight camp, probably more than what you're getting paid anyway. It's like, locally you ain't fighting for money. You're fighting to build your resume to get paid in the UFC, ideally, and that locally it's like, enough to just, like I said, help pay for some of the expenses. But no way are you paid in full, then let alone paid for the hours you train and all that you sacrificed, and then vegetables ain't cheap 3 times a day. Yeah. And all the food, the groceries, it adds up. And, getting to the UFC, it's nice to now work with Trifecta, helping us out with the meals, little things like that. They go a long way for us,
How popular is this promotion or this type of events in your area? How big are the gates typically?
Well, we have a venue size of about 1,200, 1,300 people or so.
That's big.
So it's fun. It's a good local event, man. We just try to have a good time. We're right there in Manchester, New Hampshire, and it's the busiest city in the state, and it's nice. We're right in downtown. You can go there. We're in a hotel too, so the fighters get to show up, especially out of town. The airport's 5-10 minutes from the location, so really easy, like a $10 Uber from the airport to the venue, and then it's a one-stop shop from there. Weigh-ins, fight night, and then their hotel. So it's a really convenient thing for them, and a lot of walking spots to go do post-fight. If you have a couple of drinks watching the fights, you can go. You just walk to the bar down the corner, walk to the restaurant. So I like the vibe we set down there in New Hampshire, and they're just great to work with. And
so after you came to UFC, did you learn something that you want to apply back to Combat Zone, or it's pretty much the same thing?
I constantly try to, just absorb absorb the things that happen at the highest level, and then do what I can for the local guys. However I can do it, smoke and mirrors, just provide. Even they take care of us pretty well at the UFC. They take care of all the little things, and even down to the production, man. It's next level. I might not be able to do all the lights and things, but as far as the processes of how they conduct their interviews and all these other things, it's definitely interesting. And for a fighter standpoint, it's nice going into that green room post-fight. And then I remember my first time walking out back there, they had just waters, Gatorades, all different colors, all in a row, like color coordinated, all on ice, prime rib in the catering. They get the chicken, potatoes. They got an ice cream machine over there. I'm like, man, yeah, it's beautiful. It's nice. I can get used to this, man. It's nice. Like I was at a NFL or NBA, in the back. Like they take care of you.
That's awesome, man. And speaking of production, I've noticed that you guys actually have your own little channel going on right now. It's New England Cartel. Is it what?
Yeah. Appreciate the draw.
Tell me about the New England Cartel, this thing, and we'll talk about a little bit of the channel.
Yeah, so we're having fun with it, man. It's a thing of ours. It's a tight knit group of guys, and we're all just like minded, goal oriented, and we want to put the team first, working hard, and I think we're getting good results, man. It's growing every day. We're putting in the work right now. We're trying to get some content out, just showing who we are and what we do, and having fun with it, man. We got Martin Foley helping us out big time with that. With the page, and he's running it, putting content up. But we got a good group of guys around us, and we're working hard.
So it's you, Rob Font, your manager Tyson, and who are the other people involved?
Oh, there's a bunch of other New England like coaches and up and comers, man. Just it's a good close knit group of guys, but. It's growing every day, man. It's more of like, it's just nice to have something for people in the area to get behind and support, because I feel like we're trying to become the face of MMA around here and put it on the map. And, we're just having fun with it right now.
Yeah, I saw the videos. The videos are great quality. So, and seems like somebody is really taking it seriously. So I'll leave the link below so people who are your fans can go and check what's up, what's going on, because it's fascinating.
Yeah, follow along. Keep up with the cartel.
Here you go. He just put on the promoter's hat. So how does your?
You don't want me to put on the fighter hat.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm far away, so I'm fine. I don't care. Hey, so how does?
Before I find you again.
How does the your experience as a promoter and Combat Zone help you in UFC as a fighter?
What is it?
Like how the experience of being a promoter, does it help you to promote yourself in UFC, or how does it?
I don't, I guess it's unique maybe, but it's really with UFC how they want to push that. If they want to push that, we all kind of got pretty crazy stories. You don't just wake up one day generally and say you want to be a fighter. You kind of I feel like mostly fall into this. So at least that's what happened to me, and. So yeah, that's on them, and as far as promoting me and stuff. That's why for us, it's just we want to promote ourselves. We want to give them a genuine feel of who we are and what we do. Like I said, so we give them a link to follow along and just get an idea of because you can't wait around for the UFC to promote you. They got too many guys, and it really is not about that, man. We're really trying to just create memories, have a good time with it, and capture a pretty crazy ride at this point.
It seems to me that there is two ways for fighters to promote themselves. The first is obviously being an exciting fighter, which you are. You have a best boxing, in my opinion. Very fascinating. And then there is trash talk, and you're not really trash talking much. You're a very nice guy.
I know, man. I try not to. They try to get me to, but it's like I don't really give a fuck about the other guy 9 out of 10 times. Especially because I don't face that guy but one day in camp. For every other day it's me versus me. So I don't really care about that guy. It's like I'm trying to become a better Calvin Kattar every day. And we know in this sport, these guys fall out left and right, to get tied up on one guy and then have to switch game plans, week of a fight.
Yeah.
So it's a lot, man. So I'm just trying to become the best Calvin Kattar, best martial artist I can become. And I'm just not worried about these guys. I'll get to them all, one at a time.
Yeah, but I think it's just became the part of the game for people who want to maximize their return. So here's what I thought about. I thought like, okay, I need to train Calvin how to be a trash talker. So for the next couple of minutes, you're gonna trash talk, talk each other, okay? So you're not good. I mean, maybe you're good, but you're not really in trash talking, and I'm not really in English. You know, I don't speak your language. So it's a great sparring session. How about you? I'm your future opponent. Let's start.
Let's go.
Calvin, you suck. I'll beat your ass. What's your reply to that? Your laugh?
It's tough through the phone. You know, first of all, I'm being recorded, so like
it sounds like an excuse. I'll beat your ass, sir.
Yeah, just old school me would think, damn, I say something on here, you're gonna be able to hold this in court and hold my ass accountable. But if I hang out now and find you somewhere,
you're doing bad, very bad, Calvin.
I know.
New England Cartel.
It's tough. I don't do the bullshit. It's a you know.
This is number one bullshit.
This
New England Cartel.
Send me location, motherfucker. Send me location. All right.
Okay, let's move on to the next question. You know, we're not doing that good of a job. Hey, so I'm thinking to learn a little bit more of you as a person. Okay, so let's just focus on that. So you grew up in Massachusetts. Where exactly?
Yes. Methuen, Mass.
What is it for people like me?
It's like 30 minutes north of Boston.
Okay. Yeah, so got it. And you said you discovered wrestling when? You were wrestling originally, right?
Yeah, so no, I wrestled freshman year in high school is when I got my start, and it was like a couple weeks late into the season, and then and I got going, and I think I had a tournament like that first or second week I started doing it, and I won it. I got 4 pins or something. I got a bracket and a medal. I was like, this is the coolest shit ever. And so I just stuck with it all season, all 4 years. And then I felt like, you know, if the guys I lost to in wrestling, if I could have just punched them in the face, I could have beat them up. But you know, they're really technical. They go with the legs, all sort of shit. And then I found my sport, you know, 6 months later, training MMA, and I've been loving it since.
But why did you start wrestling in the first place? Is it for fun or just to, I don't know, be able to beat somebody's butt in the streets?
I guess it was more so like try it out, fun. You know, why not? You know, learn how. I always had a bigger older brother, you know, Jameson, my brother. They're all 2 years older than me, him and all his buddies. So I constantly get like, I don't know, picked on or you know, they give it to me pretty good as a group. And so I got a little chippy, and I think it was just how it worked out. My buddy actually was on the team. He told me to come out and try it, and I was like, well, if you're going to do it, I kind of had already missed the deadline by 2 weeks, but I'm like, I'll come. And I ended up staying the whole season, and he left over Christmas break, and I stayed all 4 years.
Oh, wow.
So it helped that he kind of pulled me in and made me feel comfortable to do it, you know, because that singlet's kind of weird as a freshman.
And you started, what, I think you were 13 years old or something like that?
Yeah, right, just about. And I learned a lot, man. It was good for my mental toughness, dieting, nutrition, things like that. Just understand, you know, being able to have discipline with your diet and competing. I had a great coach, Bill James. I think he got my mind right young.
And how did your parents react to it? Did they were they supportive to this, both mother and father?
Yeah, they liked the wrestling, and then when it came to the fighting, it was wait, you're doing what? You know, it's like, yeah, I'm fighting in 2 weeks. Like, I thought you were just training. I'm like, nah, yeah, I was. I'm fighting, and they're like, yeah, my father's throwing up before every fight for the first however many. The first guy I fought, I was 18 years old, I want to say 18, 19, and I was fighting like 31-year-old guy, and my dad's like 40 something, I think. You know, so it's like. He was closer to his age than mine, you know, and he's throwing up, feeling sick. And then the next guy I fought was like 34, and then 40, and then like.
Oh, so you beat up a bunch of old people. Like, I'm not
the first 3 fights. No, man, these guys. I mean, the first guy I fought, they go weighing between 160 and 170. I weighed like 155 because I lost too much weight. I was just out of shape. Oh. And the guy weighed like 178 or something. Yeah, say weighed between 170 and 180, and I weighed 165, and he weighed 178. Local MMA, you know? Yeah, local MMA. That type shit happens locally. And so I ended up getting a first round on him, though. I hit him with some good shots. He was a judo guy, threw me around a little bit, but I finished him with strikes. I think I finished all 3 of them with strikes. And then Yeah.
You're a wrestler. Where did this striking game came from?
Good question, man. I always wanted to box when I was a kid, and just I feel like I was just always bullshitted. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna take you to the gym. Like my uncle's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna bring you to the gym. Yeah, we're gonna bring you. I'm like, oh, I'm ready. I'm ready. And then I ended up just finding wrestling when I was 13. But I always had a knack for it. And when I look back, there were a lot of red flags that I'd be doing what I do today.
And was it boxing or Thai boxing? What was it primarily?
Boxing. Because
Boxing.
I came from wrestling, and then when I took my first fight, I'm like, shit, I got to learn some stand up. So I actually started doing some boxing lessons at like the Gold's Gym down the street. And
Yeah.
I came in touch with Gil Reyes, who's a great boxing coach and fighter. And he's out in Miami, Florida now. But he set me up and was, teaching me some real good basic boxing and fundamentals. And I took it in there with my wrestling skills, and it really got me by the first few fights getting started in local MMA.
So how's your training now? Do you go like in your training? Do you do everything, or you focused on one specific craft?
I do everything. I do everything, yes. And every now and then we break it up to hone in on something. But it's, mixed martial arts, man. And I look back at some of the ways I was training back then and to now. And you just got to improve every camp. And you do that enough, by the time, you have 25 fights, you'll be pretty dialed in.
What was your most memorable MMA fight?
I'd say Shane Burgos, TD Garden.
What?
Just the feeling hearing that crowd was special, and it was like my debut in the UFC for all of the people who have supported me locally for my whole career. They were able to come to the TD Garden, and it was special, man. It was nothing like it. And against a tough veteran like Shane Burgos, it was a big win.
And boy, did you deliver! That's
yeah,
very, very cool.
yeah. We both did, man. It was a good fight, and then,
It was a fantastic fight.
Yeah, landed a big shot, followed up, man. And you see how tough he is, even following our fight, just going on a run.
Yeah, he's I don't know, he's impressive. You're one of a few people from Boston, like very well known now, right? You pretty much representing it. Is
Right.
how
Me and
does
my man Rob Font trying to become some Boston legends.
yeah how does Dana White go about it? Like every time there is a card in Boston, he wants you to be in the main event, or do you guys discuss that?
I hope that's his thought process. I have to ask him next time I see him.
Hopefully that's. Are there any other fighters on the roster that you really enjoy watching?
Yeah, definitely a lot. I'm a fan of the sport. Like I said, I love watching these guys compete. I wish I got to see more of the ones yesterday. I heard there was a great main event. I just was training. I missed the tail end of them, but I saw a couple of good ones earlier. The Emmett fight in Burgos was great. I paid attention to guys that fought or certain, try to be more of a student of the game, even just watching just anybody compete and seeing what they're doing and trying to pick something from it. I have a better eye for things now, and I just enjoy watching the fights.
Do you watch the fight with the idea that, oh, okay, I'm gonna try this out next time, or it's more like
yeah, or sometimes it happens to me in a round. Someone will do some shit to me and be like, oh, I'm gonna do that right back. Just because if you don't do it right away, you might lose it. If you don't use it, you lose it. So
yeah, who do you think is the greatest of all time in MMA?
Well, the story ain't done being told, but as of now, I mean, you got a strong running at Khabib being up there doing everything he's had to do. GSP definitely. John Jones, aside from, I get, things, but just the record, the accolades, undefeated guys. And then there's guys that just you love. Connor, of course, you got to throw him in the mix. He just of the storied career he's had, 2 division champ, things like that. First one to do it. There's a lot of just iconic guys in the game, man. And you go back to Chuck Liddell. How big was he for the sport? Tito, just the rivalry. And then you go you go back. Who was more pivotal than the other? Forrest Griffin in that big fight, an Ultimate Fighter finale. Like, just wild, man. So yeah, but as far as I love watching all the fights, and I think you still like, how about just with Joanna and the champ, that
really?
was just a recent
that was
what a fight that was, right? We're still seeing monumental things, and it's just growing and growing. It's just great to be a part of the growth.
One thing I meant to ask you, and I forgot, is how you end up at UFC. I think it was just a last minute call, right? And they call you to replace someone for Philly. Walk me through that.
Who the hell was that? I believe it was Duo Troy. I
Yeah,
think
it was him. Yeah,
Mike
yeah.
Feely. Yeah, so he pulled out, and I stepped in. I had 2-week notice, and I was just in Vegas for 8 days. It was rough. I was having drinks with all the guys out there. The matchmakers trying to push my name. They're asking for one drink. I'm getting them two. Anything you want, man. I'm like, I'm working over here, shaking hands, whatever I could do. And then we were trying to talk about like maybe a contender deal in like a couple months or something like that. And then I get back to Boston. I'm on, the first hole of like out the golf course on the front nine, 6 a.m. after like a red eye from Vegas. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Hey, you want to fight in 2 weeks in Anaheim, California? I think it was the DC and John Jones undercard or something crazy. I'm like,
how do you make a weight, man?
Yeah, it was tough. We just, manned up. I had to lose 20 pounds. That's why, like, where I'm at now on a month's notice, like, you're able to understand where you're at,
Mm-hmm.
But what were my options, What were my options? You're at the top of the line now. You say no, you go to the bottom of the line.
Yes.
And I worked too hard. Maybe I don't get back to the top to get that opportunity again. So I had, it took me a lot, man. I had to listen to my coaches, my corners, my friend, like Rob Font, Greg Rebello, Tyson. They all gave me calls and just, hey, like, you got this, And so we signed up, did it, handled business, and then was TD Garden, was the real debut. I feel like full notice, 10-week camp at home. It was just a good follow up.
Do you think UFC put you on the card with Philly just to replace you, or they saw the potential in you? Because I have a feeling that sometimes they just throw somebody to be eaten.
I don't think anybody saw what was coming. Except myself and my team.
And you relatively, I wouldn't say, you came to the game a little bit late, right? So you're a late comer to UFC. How old were you when you got that call?
Well, that was 3 years ago, and so like 29.
Yeah, so it's quite impressive that like it's relatively late, and you are actually doing fantastic job, and you're growing.
Just gotta hit the ground
this.
running. Yeah. And Tom Brady says, everyone develops at different ages. I feel like I'm finally developing into my own and just have the better understanding of the game than I've ever had. And I'm happy to have an opportunity in front of me now that I feel like I'm ready for.
Do you think if you came to UFC earlier, you would have a similar run, or it would be something different? Or you had to mature somewhere in another organization?
I think about that. I feel like everything happened the way it should happen, and I like where my mentality's at.
Mm-hmm.
The things I've been through that led me to this moment, and I think it develops character and builds you for these types of moments, man. Having been through more adversity, you can handle more, and just understanding what you can go through, what you can give, what you can take, and yeah, I feel like my mind's right leading in these. I would like to say I could have handled it back then too, but I'm ready for it now.
How much of the fighting for you is love of the game versus money? And how important is money part of this?
Yeah, man, I've been a broke fighter my whole career. As far as trying to be paid, I'm trying to be a prize fighter. Man, I'm trying to get just not just for me, but just what it provides, and yeah, I'm just busting my ass to make things happen. Right now, we have a good opportunity with Dan Ige, but like I said, I'm chasing that win side like he owes it to me.
So one day you're probably going to retire. One day, I don't know when, in 15 years, let's say.
Yeah.
And if UFC offered you to stay with the company, would you accept that, or you want to go back to focus on Combat Zone?
I feel like you can do both. So I'd be open to everything. I'm always open-minded, man. I'm open for all opportunities. And yeah, I'd be down for either. I could see something in both.
Got it. I have a quick blitz for you in the end. I'm gonna ask you a quick question. Give me a quick answer. Okay. Mm-hmm. What's your favorite movie?
I'd say Goodfellas.
Huh. What's your favorite song?
Favorite song? Oof. I would say maybe House of the Rising Sun, Animals.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. What's your favorite car?
Favorite car?
Audi?
I'm driving the Audi right now, Q5. I'm really enjoying it, and I would love a Tesla in the future maybe, or something along those lines.
So Tesla it is. Did you see the Cybertruck?
SUVs only. Got to fit the golf bag and the gym bag.
No, okay, cool. So that's maybe might answer my next question. What's your favorite sport outside of MMA?
I'd say golf. Yeah, it's good times.
What's your relationship to golf? Is your brother's?
What's the relationship to what? Golf?
Yeah, I think your brother is in golf too, right?
Yeah, my brother golfs a lot. My family, they own a golf course out here in Methuen, Mass, and so um, we kind of grew up around the golf course our whole life. But I just never started really playing. I had the patience to play till the second half. Just the older I got, the more I appreciated it.
What's your favorite country to visit?
All of them. I love to travel, and I can't wait to really go travel more once this things settle a little bit.
Yeah.
I wish I could see more of Abu Dhabi, but they're gonna there and back. Can't really. I'd love to pop off and see Dubai or maybe Lebanon, things like that. But yeah, we got to go right back to
And
Vegas.
you interested in Lebanon because I think you're partial Lebanese, right?
Yeah, 25%.
Is it your granddad?
My grandfather. Yeah, I got to go see my cousins out there in Lebanon sometimes.
That's interesting place to visit. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to. They got the best food in the world.
And I've read that you've learned quite a few things from your grandfather because he has a good business acumen.
Yes, he
would you
does.
say? What would you learn?
I learned everything. I learned a lot from that guy, and I'm just happy to have had him in my life as long as I had. And I wish I had him longer, but yeah, he's definitely he set himself up to take care of generations of his family, and I think that's important. And how he did that, coming from what he came from, was pretty impressive.
And you seem to have a very special relationship with your mother because I remember you after one of the wins you said, "Mom, I'm in the ESPN."
Yeah, Mom, we're on ESPN.
What did you learn from your mother?
It's just everything, man. She's a single parent and raising 3 kids, and just it's just the things she had to do to make it as well, and what she's been through, and what she stands for now. She always finds the positive in every negative situation, and has kept me open-minded, and she's really affected the way that I view things. And yeah, she's a big part of the reason why I fight and what I fight for.
That's cool.
My family, my circle, and starts with her.
What's the first item on your bucket list, man?
I definitely got to jump out of a plane or something like that soon. Because
With
if I don't do it soon, I'll never do it. So I got to get that out of me quick. But other than that, just trying to travel, see the world, and experience that with my people, my family, my close friends, my team. I want to just experience life, man. It's it, bucket list shit.
And last question. There are some future fighters watching this video. What advice would you give them?
I would say, get around the right people, and trust your gut with the training. Mix it up. Try to experience. Sometimes my biggest fear for fighters starting out is that they don't realize that the gym they're in is like a McDojo or something like that, and they're going into a cage fight, and it's pretty real once you step in. You just gotta make sure like you're mixing it up. I tell them to wrestle the wrestlers, box the boxers, kickbox the kickboxers, do judo with the judo guys, and really get the work in, and then it's on them to mix it up and just surround themselves by the right people, though. Yeah, that's probably the number one piece of advice you could do, is surround yourself by the right people. For me, I'm fortunate I have a lot of good ones around me, but it took me about 14 years to really dial in on that.
Well, Calvin, thanks very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Hey, thank you, man. Good talking to you.